Thank you for joining our webinar, How DFM Helps You Hit the High Notes in Orthopedic Device Development. Our speaker is Dean Petrella, Director of Program Management at Tegra Medical. Tegra Medical is known as the company where medical devices come to life, a true end-to-end contract manufacturing solutions provider for orthopedic and spine instruments and implants. Tegra Medical offers prototyping to production with full assembly, packaging, and sterilization.
Welcome, everyone. Once again, my name is Dean Petrella. I'm the Director of Program Management here at Tegra Medical, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about DFM, Design for Manufacturing. I've been in the medical device industry for close to 30 years, and I've developed a sincere passion for helping customers and OEMs bring their product to life. But I've also have a passion for music. I'm a songwriter, I'm a musician, I have a band. We write, we record, we produce our own music. And through the years, I've realized that there's some correlations between my two passions. And I thought it might be interesting for this presentation to share some of that and kind of keep a little bit of a musical theme throughout. If you look at the screen that you're looking at right now, there's an ad, that's an actual ad we took out a few years ago that talked just about that, my passion by day and my passion by night. So DFM is a key element to any successful product launch. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is when and how to start that process. And it can be super critical to the success of launching a new product. So how early the OEM engages the contract manufacturer, what the engagement looks like going back and forth can be super important. Understanding quality and regulatory requirements. And one of the things that we're going to look at is maybe some of the soft skills involved in this, not necessarily just the technical challenges and equipment and things that are quite critical to the process, but again, maybe some of the soft skills and some of the more artistic touches that can really make products come to life. So this slide is kind of fun. You see a very young me to the far left and an older me to the far right. And that is not me stage diving, in case you were wondering. But this title is called Give Me 3 Steps, in reference to an old classic rock song. And the 3 topics we're going to touch on are willingness, trust, and partnership. So in regards to willingness seems like a relatively simple word, and it is, but sometimes it's difficult to keep things simple and really have the right spirit to make some of these products come to life. So one of the things we talk about is, who should make the first move? And ideally, it's the OEM, and they reach out to the contract manufacturer and really try to engage them to see the other side of the aisle, right? It's one thing to be able to put together a design. We make the joke that a good engineer can design and make anything on a drawing, but being able to manufacture it and really produce that is really where the challenge is. So we like to encourage the OEM to start that process as early as possible. Keep an open mind to get the manufacturer's side of the story as far as how to manufacture something and become very successful. I want to share a story of willingness. Some years back, one of our customers came to us and they had a new design program for a pretty complicated shaver that they were going to try to develop. And I remember very distinctly they came to visit, and they came with 5 bags of samples. And the samples were from 5 other top contract manufacturers in the country. And they proceeded to explain to us that while each supplier said they could make the samples, and they did, none of them were able to meet. There was 5 critical specifications that they needed to make. And they went on to explain how one supplier would pass one specification, but not pass the other specification, and so on and so forth down the line. And the fact that they were willing to not give up on what they knew to be what they really needed from this device, and they sought us out, and the fact that we were willing to sit down with them really proved to be beneficial to both of us. They had stated while they got samples from other suppliers, they weren't willing to really sit down and talk through some of the challenges and maybe some of the reasons why they weren't meeting specification. So we sat with them for hours upon days, upon weeks, and came up with some creative solutions for them for how to utilize some of our equipment in unorthodox ways, how to redefine test methods that they were asking for. There was a lot of challenges to that device, but through that process, we ended up coming up with something that was somewhat revolutionary and a really high volume product that we still make to this day. We actually produce them in multiple facilities globally, and we still develop new products with the same customer to this day. So on the next portion here, we're going to talk about trust. So if you look at the album cover, that's one of my rock and roll icons, Elvis Costello. This album was from 1981. It's called Trust. And if we think about trust in the DFM process and the OEM and the contract manufacturer's relationship, trust is a critical piece of this, right? And you think about the critical train of trust, if you will, from the top down, right? There's the patient that trusts the doctor, and the doctor that trusts the device, and the OEM that trusts the CM to manufacture the device. So trust plays a key role in what we do day to day and in that relationship. And this also some built-in trust that the OEM has in their supplier and trusted contract manufacturer, investment in equipment and technology, subject matter experts, and the intention of having long-term stability to produce this product. A short story relative to trust: the customer came to us once and they had been working on a new cutter system that they were working on. And they did a lot of legwork to identify the proper tubing to use for this. And they identified tubing, and they were really stretching the boundaries of the ranges of the hardness that this tubing could be held to. Their initial tests proved to be very good. When they went back to their raw material supplier, they were explaining that they really can't hold the tightest range that they were requesting for this raw material. So when they came to see us, they really sat down, trusted our know-how to take them through kind of the various paths that could be possible. So in this case, they were in fact correct. They had the right material, but the raw material supplier was also correct that they could not certify to this tightly high specified range that they wanted for hardness. So we took them through multiple options, including heat treating and some other processes that made this possible. They had some concerns about that for obvious reasons, where heat treating can cause discoloration or distortion. And we took them through multiple solutions of how to do this, at what point in the process to do the heat treating. We introduced some electropolishing and grinding to really take their idea from paper and bring it to light. And again, in this case as well, it's been a very high volume product that's been very successful for this customer and a great project for us. And that little bit of trust went a long way to make this a very successful product for both of us. The third topic is partnership. And the DFM process, can be related to music and a band and the trust and partnering you have to have with each other to collaborate, or with a relationship and love or marriage. There has to be built on mutual respect and support. And that really is a key part of the partnership, is a healthy respect for one another and really understanding each other's strengths and finding ways to, again, take a device from concept to fruition. So a story I want to share in regards to partnership: about 13 years ago, when we first started our Genesis Tech Center here at Tegra, and we're going to talk more about that a little bit later. That's where we work on new products. One of our largest customers came to us and they had a great idea for this one-piece design of this device. And it was a great idea and it was a great concept. But the original idea they had was virtually impossible to manufacture as a one-piece design, very expensive. And the materials that they were calling out to use were not going to properly get them what they wanted. So when they sent us some drawings to look at, some of our engineers looked at this quickly and said, this is not going to do what they want. We really should try to sit down with them and help them. So we invited them to our facility. I remember the day distinctly. There was 3 or 4 of their engineers and a few of our engineers. And we sat together in a room just like this with a whiteboard. And it might have been an 8-hour session, but we really sat down and the customer took us through all of the critical functions that they were looking for in the device. And we pointed out kind of, for lack of a better word, some of the flaws in the design, the material specifications, trying to make it as a one-piece design. And the customer was a little bit reluctant at first because they assumed that two-piece design was going to be more expensive. But as we took them through it, we quickly found out that it was actually more affordable that way. We introduced some surface hardening and some other things that helped with the material issues that they had. But needless to say, after some months of development together, that ended up being a very successful product for them till this day. We produce that in super high volumes in multiple locations, and we still work on new products with them daily. So again, another example of partnership and just how important that is between the contract manufacturer and the OEM. So with this next slide here, in addition to those 3 topics, we kind of refer to a few things as some extra secret ingredients. Just like good music, enthusiasm, a little bit of attitude, energy, and in the DFM case, positive attitude. So, one thing that we always try to bring to the table is when a customer brings something to us, again, it may not be manufacturable, it may not be the right material, but rather than just no quoting a customer or saying that's not going to work, we like to sit down and say, how are we going to make this work? How can we partner? How can we help you? So these little key ingredients are pretty important. And you see the slide refers to the Pointer Sisters in the old classic 80s song, I'm So Excited. So, I think it's always important to bring a little bit of excitement to the project from both sides of the table. And of course, mixed in with that excitement is a common sense approach and expert team members that can really take all of these ideas and bring them to life. So now I'd like to talk a little bit specifically about Tegra Medical. So one of the things we like to take great pride in is to not be considered just a supplier, but rather a manufacturing partner. Tegra has a rich history of combined companies with vast experience. Tegra Medical now makes up the brand name of Global Medical Division of SFS. SFS dates back to 1928. So we take great pride with this new world presence that we're really working hard on every day. On this next slide, it shows a wide range of medical products that we manufacture here at Tegra Medical. And you can see it's a vast array from devices that are used from head to toe in the human body. Here we talk a little bit about our capabilities. We just listed some of them. You can see the full list on our website. But we do have a vast experience in machining, laser processing, molding. Again, some of the companies that came together to create Tegra Medical date back quite a long ways, and there's a great amount of expertise. Again, this all rolls into the same DFM that we can look at your product and figure out what it is you need and put you in a room with the right people to make sure that they can take your design and bring it to life. So again, we want to partner with our customers, the OEM, and we want to be a true end-to-end solutions provider, starting off from DFM, as we keep saying, which is super critical, through prototyping, pilots and validations into full-scale production, assembly, packaging, and sterilization. This gives some notation on those topics. And again, if you go to our website, you can really see details about each type of process and how we handle that with our customers. Now to discuss the Genesis Tech Center services. This is the division where we develop new products with our customers. We started this about 13 years ago, and it really has been the key to our success and growth. We've got dedicated equipment, resources, and most importantly, very specific resources like program managers, process development engineers, quality engineers, tool design makers that really help us meet with our customers during the DFM process, really analyze their needs, their designs, quality, regulatory, to really go through all of the details and make sure that we can take their device and bring it to life. And it really is a key part of the DFM process and has been very successful for us. On this last slide here, we're going to leave you with a little bit of good advice. And that being, if you're the contract manufacturer, always try to meet with your customer, ask questions, listen, understand functionality. I was just in a meeting this morning with some folks, and we were talking about how, when you're fortunate enough to be busy, how easy it is to just no-quote something that seems to not make sense or not be a good fit or maybe not designed very well. But especially for a valued customer, you want to be proactive and say, hey, rather than no-quote this, can we sit down? Can we talk together about maybe how to make this something that can be manufactured? On the OEM side, kind of the same thing in reverse, right? Rather than blindly sending an RFQ, maybe engaging your supplier, your contract manufacturer, and really discussing what it is that you're looking for and how to quickly take this and bring something to life. So if you look at the slide there, there's a fun picture of the old musical movie Spinal Tap, if you're old enough to remember that silly movie. So in closing advice, have willingness to make your move, earn and seek the trust in one another, take the time to partner together, turn up the volume, and crank up production to build life-changing products. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Best of luck in your next DFM endeavor.
Thank you to Dean, and thank you to those watching. To learn more about Tegra Medical, you can visit them at tegramedical.com or contact them at the link on this webinar's details page. Access more manufacturing best practices from OMTEC's virtual education series at omtechexpo.com.